Hey guys, welcome to Pepcoding. In today's lecture, we are going to solve this problem, remove duplicate letters. Okay, so let's try to read this problem. Given a string S, remove duplicate letters so that every letter appear once and only once. You must make sure your result is the first in dictionary order among all the possible results. Okay, yeah, so this is kind of input, and there are some constraint data. The length of the string will not equal to 1. It would be of some length, okay, till 10 power 4. Okay, so S consists of lowercase English letters. Okay, fine. So let's try to understand it, what the problem is. Okay, so what we have to do, let's say we have this string. Okay, let's say my strings inputted this. Okay, B A B C. So as you know, in the question what they have said, that we have to remove the duplicate letters. Okay, so in this you can see that B is getting repeated. Okay, so B is the duplicate one. Fine. So what we have to do, what we can do, there can be two answers. Okay, there can be two possible answers. What? Okay, let's see now. Here in this string, what I can do, either I can remove this B or I can remove this B. Okay, so initially let's say I am going to remove this B. Fine. So what will my string be? Okay, what will be my string actually? It will be like this: A B C. Okay, if I delete this if I delete this B, then what will be my string? C. If I am going to delete this B, then my string will be like this: B A C. Fine. Okay, so there are only two possible answers for this. Okay, so plus one constraint, that one rule was also there, that we have to return what? We have to return the first in the dictionary among all the answers. Okay, so there are two strings, that is ABC and BAC. What will be the first in dictionary among these two? The first will be ABC. Fine, because you all know A is always first in the dictionary. Fine. Okay, so this will be first in the dictionary. Okay, I hope you understood this question, that what we have to do in this question. Fine, so let's try to take this test case also and see that what are the possible output: B C A B C. Okay, and another string is B C A B C. Okay, in this duplicate letters are what? One is B and another is C. B is getting repeated, okay, and C is getting repeated. Okay, so how many answers can be there? Okay, let's see how many answers can be there. Fine. Okay, so okay, I have how many options here? Either I can delete this B, either I can delete this B, or I can delete this C, or I can delete this C. Okay, so let's say initially I am going to delete this B and C. Okay, okay, fine. So here I am going to write what I have left with this BCA. Fine. So one answer will be BCA. Fine. Another will be what? Let's say I am going to delete, instead of this B, I am going to delete this B. Okay, my answer will be what? CAB. C. My answer will be this CAB. Okay, okay, instead of this C, let's say I am going to delete this C. So what will be my answer now? Wait, my answer will be this ABC. Okay, fine. There is one more possibility. Let's see what is that. Okay, CAB. And now let's say if I want to delete this P. Okay, this C and this P. If I want to delete this B and this, so I am getting here what? BAC. Okay, so I am getting BAC. So I am getting here four answers. See, BCA, CAB, ABC, and BAC. Okay, so here what is there are four possible answers. Okay, for this string. Okay, there are four possible answers. Okay, so what I am getting here, that what I want among this all answer, that I want the first string, that means that will come first in the dictionary among all these answers. What will come? Obviously are ABC. ABC is the one which will come first in the dictionary. Okay, because it's having A in the very front. Okay, so now let's see that how we are going to solve this question. Okay, now I hope you understood this question, that what we have to do. Fine. Okay, so let's say my string is like this: C and B. Okay, let's say my string is like this. Okay, so what can I do here? See, what can be the possible answer? If I want to make this letter, if I want to make this dictionary using replacing or whatever, if I want to replace something, so CB will be the correct answer, fine, but I can't replace right now because CB is the original. There are no duplicate letters, okay? So this will be like CB. CB will be the first in dictionary, okay? Fine. So what if there is, let's say, one more C? Okay, what if there is one more C? So what can I do here is, if I want to make it BC, I'm going to check whether this C is getting repeated or not. As you can see, C is having duplicates here, so I can remove this C. Okay, so now what I want to see, firstly I'm going to check that can I remove this C. Yes, I can remove this C because after this B there is a C, so there will be no problem. Okay, so if I am going to remove this C, what I will be getting, see, after removing I will be getting here BC. So now BC is the first in dictionary as compared to CB. Okay, either I can also remove this, but I don't want to remove this. If I remove this, then I'll be getting CB, but CB is not first in the dictionary. Okay, I hope you understood what I actually did. See, I'm going to tell you once again what I actually did. What I actually did here, I checked whether the previous character. Firstly, I'll check my preference is greater. That means if I come here instead of this C, so I'll be, this string will be first in dictionary among all the possible answers, right? So and after this it will be after the checking the after checking the preference, it will check whether this character is present ahead or not. So this is present ahead, so it can be removed. Okay, so this answers will be, now if my C is deleted, then my answer will be BC, which is first in dictionary as compared to what, CV. Fine. Yeah, so now let's see that how we are going to do this question. Let's talk about another test cases also. Okay, so guys, let's talk about these test cases. Okay, so now I am going to discuss the approach that what we have to do. Okay, so initially let's say what is my string here is CB A C D C B C. Okay, so this is my string and this is the answer, actual answer, that what we need. Okay, so this is my strings. Okay, so here what I am going to do, firstly initially I am going to take two arrays, one of bool and one of count. Okay, so let's say this is my count array. Fine. Okay, I'll tell you that why I'm taking this. Okay, why I'm taking this right now. Okay, so this will be my boolean array. Okay, yeah, so what we are going, oh, and this is my stack, and I am going to use here stack. Why, you will see. Yes, so I'm going to use here stack. Okay, so firstly this will be my count array. Wait, yeah, so this will be my count array, which will be having counted how many times A is occurring, how many times B is occurring. Okay, and this will be my boolean array that is C already inserted or not. Okay, so let's say what is here, A, B, C and D. Four of them are there over here. So initially this will be false. Okay, and A, B, C and D is here. Okay, A is coming here how many times? One time, so 1, and B is here 2 times. Okay, 2 times, and C 1 2 3 4 times, and D is 1 time. Okay, so now see, let's see what we are going to do here. Okay, so initially if I am at C, I have no option, I just have to push my C. Okay, in this stack. Okay, this is my stack, and after pushing this I have to decrease my count. No, when I'm talking about C now, I have to decrease my count then only. Okay, so I'm going to decrease my count here. Yeah, so now it's 3. Initially it was 4. Fine, and I am going to mark it as true. I'm going to mark C as true. Fine. Yeah, so when I am talking about B now. Okay, so now I'm talking about B. Okay, so I'll be decreasing its value, that only what is this count actually, whenever I am talking about, now let's say I'm talking about B right now. Okay, So I'll be watching from here that how many elements are there. See, after this element B is only occurring one time. Okay, after this element C is occurring only 1, 2 and 3 times. So C is having 3. Okay, so after this B, A is occurring only one time. Okay, so this is what we have. That's why I am going to decrease it right now only when I am talking about this element. Okay, so now my B will be equal to 1 because it has been decreased. Okay, so what we have to do, this B will be checking for C. Sorry, it will not check for C, it will check for this C. Now this is here, B is waiting here. Okay, so now it will be checking at the top of the stack. Okay, that what's the preference of this element. Okay, now it will be checking that if I get to come first. Okay, if I am coming first rather than this C, can no, firstly it will be checking its preference. Is B's preference greater than C or not? In dictionary, the preference of A is the largest, then B, then C, then D. Okay, because this is how we write in dictionary order, right? Yeah, so it will be checking the stack's top, that its preference is greater or C's the top preference is greater. Obviously B's preference is greater. Okay, so my pseudo code will be like this. When the preference, that means my preference, wait, that means when character's preference is greater than stack's top's preference, and what we have to do, plus one more thing I have to do is what I have to check whether this stack's top, that means stack's top is occurring once more or not. This must be greater than 0. Stack's top must be greater than 0. That means this element should occur once more in the string. So can I then I can see from here, right, that it is occurring in the string after all. So okay, so now what can I do? I can easily, plus one more thing I have to see whether this B is visited or not. I have to only write this B only once. Okay, so now what can I do? I can pop this element out because C is occurring afterwards also. Okay, so now I am going to pop this out. Fine, and after this I am going to write here B. This B I am going to write here. Okay, now let's talk about A will be checking the same. So now B will be true. After popping C, the C will be false here. Okay, and B will be true. C will be false and B will be true. Okay, yeah. So now this A will be checking. This A will be waiting here, and it will be check. Firstly, it will check that I am visited previously or not. Okay, so A is false right now. Okay, fine. So now it will be checking. So after this, it will be, firstly it will decrease its count to 0. Okay, now it's talking about A itself now. So after this position, there is no A. Fine. Okay, so now this will be checking the preference of B, that which one is greater in preference. Obviously A is greater than preference. Okay, my preference is checked. One thing is to check is, first of all, what we have to check, first of all, visited. Second thing, preference. Wait, second thing is preference. Third thing is what, occurring more than once or not, occurring ahead or not. Okay, so yeah, visited check, that A is not visited, and preference checked, A's preference is greater than the stack stop. Okay, now occurring check, is B is occurring once more. I will be checking it here. Okay, so B is obviously occurring once more because there is one more B present in the string after this A. So I can now pop my element, whatever my element was. Okay, yeah, so now I am going to do what, I am going to push my A here. Okay, now C will be checking. Now we'll be talking about C, this C. So before talking about C, okay, one more thing I forgot to do, what, that I have to mark A as true and mark B as false. And after checking C, now I'm talking about C, so I have to decrease my count to 2 here because C are only 2 left after this. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, firstly I'm going to check visited. Is C visited or not? Okay, it's not visited. Let's first delete this. Yeah, so I'm going to firstly check is this visited or not. C is not visited, that means it's fine. I can visit here. Okay. Now I'll check preference. Is C preference greater than A? No, its preference is not greater than A. So C can't be replaced or added. So okay. So last option for C is what? What after checking all this, last option of C is what? I have to C has to push itself. Okay, last option is if there is nothing to pop or something, so character has to push itself. Okay, now C has pushed itself. Now what we have to do is I have to mark C as true and I have to decrease the count. Sorry, I have already decreased the count of C. Okay, so it's 2 already. Now I have pushed my C and I am going to mark it as true. Fine. Now I'll be talking about D here. Okay, now is D has occurred? Occurred? No, D has not occurred. That means it has not been visited. Then it's fine. So now I am going to check its preference. D's preference greater than C? No, its preference is not greater than C. Then I can't pop this C out. Rather, I can do what? I can push myself in. Plus one more thing, I have to mark it as true, and I have to do what? I have to decrease D's count. Okay, yeah. So now let's talk about what? Now I am going to talk about, okay, I have talked about this D, and now I am going to talk about ACD. Now I am going to talk about this C. Okay, so firstly what I have to do here is I have to check whether I am visited or not. So I am visited here. Okay, that means this C is already visited, so I can't repeat myself once more. Okay, or what can I do if I want to delete? Let's say my answer is right now what ACD. If I want to delete this C, let's say, and I'm going to I want to push this C inside, then my answer will be not according to the dictionary. ACD was far better than ADC. Fine. I hope you understood this. Fine. Okay. So now I won't do anything, and after this I'm going to decrease my C. Okay, I'm going to decrease my C. Whatever my C was, I'm going to decrease it. Okay, I'm not going to push any C. Okay, now I'm going to talk about B. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about B and check whether it's preference. Firstly, what I'm going to do, I'm going to check whether it's visited or not. So it's not visited. That means I can visit in my stack. I can push myself in the stack. Okay. So yes, the next thing what we have to do, we have to check the preference of the stack stop. Okay, yes, so I'm going to check the preference of the stack stop. So my preference is greater than the stack stop preference. Okay, so here I can pop it out. Okay, but one more condition I have to check, that it's occurring or not. Once more, so I am going to check the count. So count is equals to 0. That means I can't pop this D out. It's the only letter in this whole string, so I can't delete it. It's the original position of this D. Fine. So I have only one option left, that is if I am occurring. If I am not occurring, that means if I have not visited, then I have to add myself. Okay, so this B will be getting added. Okay, so now it will be ACDB. Okay, now my B is 0 and my B is marked as true. Okay, so now we'll be talking about this C, and we'll be firstly checking, am I visited? Yes, I am visited, so I don't have to do anything. Okay, now this string has been fully iterated, so whatever the answer left in this tag is the answer. You can see ACDB. So this is the answer, that is ACDB. Okay, so one more thing I have to tell you, that if I want this answer, okay, so I have to print this answer. This is the stack. Okay, if I am going to pop it out, it will be like, firstly B will be getting popped out, so I'll get B, then I'll be getting D, then I'll be getting C, then I'll be getting A, but I need it as reverse. Okay, A, C, D, B. Okay, so what I'll be going to do here is I'm going to pop one by one out, and I'm going to store it in a character array. Then I'm going to just reverse it and I'm going to print it. Fine, so I have to do this thing. Okay, so now let's talk about another test case, that is what, that is this one. So yes, now let's talk about this one, B, B, C, A, C. Okay, so let's say this is my stack. and this is my what count array. Let's say this is my count array, so I can see from here is that A is occurring 2 times, B is occurring 2 times, and C is occurring 2 times, and this is my Boolean array. A is initially A is false, B is also false, and C is also false. Okay, so what I'm going to do? Firstly, I'm at B. Okay, I'm at B. I have no option. I have to push this B, and I am going to decrease the count of B and going to mark it as true. So it is 1 and it is true. So now I am at this B. Okay, I am at this B. So firstly I have to what? I have to check visited or not. It's kind of visited array only Boolean that I am visited or not. Firstly check visited. Second thing what we have to do, reference. And third thing what we have to do, we have to check the whether the character is occurring or not once again. Fine. Yeah. So now what I'm going to do? Firstly, I'm going to check whether it's visited or not. It's already visited. You can see through the Boolean array. Okay, it's already visited, so I don't have any option. So I'm going to talk about this C now. Okay, so I'm going to check. Firstly, I'm going to check whether it's visited. So it's not visited. That means I can go inside this answer. Okay. So after this, what we have to do now? My B is also equals to 0. B is 0 right now. Okay, because initially it was 2, then it was 1, then now it's 0 because I have iterated. Okay, now I am at C. I'm going to check whether I am visited or not. That it's not visited. So after this I'm going to check the preference. So my preference is obviously less than C's preference is less than B, so it can't C can't do anything. So and plus it's not has been visited, so it has to push itself in this. Okay, so now C is what? C is I'm going to mark C as true, and I am going to decrease its count. Okay, yeah. So now I am here. Now I am going to check my. Firstly, I'm going to check whether whether A is visited or not. So A is not visited. That means I can visit here. Okay. Now I'm going to check the preference of the character with the stack stop. Okay. So A's preference is greater than C. Okay. That is fine. Now I'm going to check whether my stack stop. That means C is occurring more than once or not. That means its occurrence is more than 0 or not. So you can see from here that C is occurring is more than 1. So what I am going to do, I am going to pop this out. I am going to pop this C out, and I am going to push myself. Okay. So when I have pushed myself, my A is true now, and my A is equals to 1. Fine, because I am going to decrease the count. Okay, so I'm now I am at this A. So I have already visited, so I can't visit again. Okay, so this A will not visit again. Now I'm at C. Okay, now I'll be checking. Now okay, so when I pop this C out, I have to also mark it as false. Okay, so now firstly I'm going to check that whether I have visited or not. So I have not visited, so I can visit here, visit in my answers. Okay, so after this what I am going to see, my A is 0. Okay, so now after this I am going to see whether my stack's preference is greater than me or not. So no, C's preference is not greater than A. A must be in front of C. That's why it will be first in dictionary. Fine. So I have no option. So I have to add myself in this string, in this stack, and my answer is right. What? It's BAC. So you can see from here that answer is BAC. Okay. So this is how we have to do this problem, and we have to just invert this. When I am going to pop the characters out, then I'll be getting it in the reverse order. That means C, A, C. Firstly C will come, then A will come, and then B will come. So I'm going to store it in some array, and then I'm going to just print it in a reverse order. Okay, fine. Yeah. So this is how we have to do this question. I hope you understood this solution, that what we have to do. Let's try to do the code. Okay. So let's code this question out. Okay. So initially what we have to do? Initially we have to create a Boolean array. Fine. Yeah. So let's create a Boolean. Let's say I'm going to create a Boolean vector. Fine. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a Boolean vector. Okay, that is a pool, and the name of that vector is, let's say, added, of size of what, 26. Okay, so I am taking it as 26. I am going to tell you it, and another is I am going to take is of take it as integer. Okay, of and the name of it name will be count. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, see. Okay, so one will be a count array. Let's say this is my count vector. Okay, and this is my boolean vector. Okay, so what it will be doing, it 0 1 2 3, how many, the size of it is 26, so the last index will be 25, and same here 0 1 2 and size will be 25. Okay, so it will be storing the count. Okay, it's fine. Okay, so now 0 is representing what, 0 will represent a, 1 will represent b, 2 will represent c. Because why? Because if I am going to I'll be na just I'll whenever I'm going to do something with this vector. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to minus my character with, subtract my character with a, then it will be providing me the actual index. If I'm going to, let's say I'm going to minus b with my a, then here what I'll be getting, I'll be getting 1, because the ASCII value of b, let's say a's ASCII value is 15, then b's ASCII value will be equal to 16. So 16 minus 15 will be equal to 1. Okay, so here we can see. Yeah, so I have created this boolean array and the count array. So initially what I have to do, firstly I have to fill this count array also. Okay, so I less than whatever my string size is. Yeah, so whatever my strings size is, fine, and I plus plus. Okay, so here I am going to add to my count of what, count of s of I minus whatever the character is, and I am just going to increase this. Okay, yeah, so after this I have to create a stack of what, sorry, stack of character, and what I am going to do here is, let's see, it is st. Yeah, so after this I have to iterate. Okay, int I equals to 0, iterate in the string less than what, s dot size and I plus plus. Okay, so the first thing what I have to do, firstly I am going to access my character. Okay, so s of I, fine, yes. Okay, so we have here accessed our character. Now I am going to check whether this character is added or not. So added is my boolean array, so whether this character is added or not. If it's added, then what I have to do, I have to decrease firstly its count. So initially I am going to decrease its count. Here I have decreased its count, and what I have to do, I have to continue. I don't want to do anything from here. Okay, so I'm going to continue from here. Okay, so my last thing what I have to do, I have to push my character here. Okay, after this I have to decrease the count, ch minus of a, fine, just okay. So I have decreased my count also, and I have to mark it as true also. Ch minus a is equals to what, is equals to true. Fine, I have marked it as true also. Fine, so these two and 3 things we have to do. Now main thing what we have to do, why, firstly I have to check its size of, it's for, it's for what, it's for the exceptions, that if my size must be greater than 0. Fine, and what I have to do, I have to check the preferences. So stack dot top must be less than, sorry, must be greater than what, greater than the character. Okay, and one more thing, that count of stack stop, the count of stack stop must be greater than 0. That means there must, it must be lying after the string. Okay, so here what I have to do, firstly I am going to store it. Okay, so let's say character, it was tc and stack dot top. Okay, no, what I'm going to do, firstly I have to mark it as what, I have, when I'm going to pop it out, I have to mark it as false. Okay, so I'm going to mark it at false. How, st dot top c, st dot minus of a equals to false. Here I have marked it as false, and I am just going to do what, I am just going to pop it out. Right, yeah. So now what actually has happened, okay, let's say I'm going to take an example a b c, and okay, so my count array will be what, a equals to 1, b equals to 2, and c equals to 1 here. Okay, and my boolean array will be equal to a equals to false, b is also false, c is also false right now. Okay, and this is my what, this is my stack. Okay, so initially I'll be here, when my this for loop will run, okay, I'll be here fine. So initially the no while loop will run, no if condition will also not run. So I have what, I just have to push my character. I'm going to push my character B and I'm going to mark it as true and I'm going to decrease its count to 1. Okay, now I'm at A. Now it will check the if condition, but if condition will not run because A is not added yet. Okay, so yes, so it will be running the while equation, that sorry, while this while loop. My stack size is greater than 0, true, and my stack stop is greater than the character. Stack stop is B, that is greater than the character, that is also true. Okay, this is also true, plus one more thing, that its count, stack stop's count must be greater than 0, and that is also true. So what I have to do, I just have to pop it out. I'm going to pop it out and I'm going to mark it as false. I'm going to mark it as false and I'm going to push my A after this. Okay, this while loop is done here. Okay, after this I'm going to push my A and I'm going to decrease its count. Okay, I'm going to decrease its count and I'm going to mark it as true. Now I'm at B, so I'll be checking whether I am visited or not. I am not visited, it's fine. Whether B is greater, sorry, whether stack stop is greater than B, it's not. So this while loop will not run. Fine, so I'll be here then. So it will be adding B, it will be doing B true, and it will be what? Decreasing its count. Okay, so now I am at C. So C is not visited and its preference is not greater than B. So we just have to do the same thing for this. We have to mark true and decrease its count and we have to push this. Okay, so yeah, so now my final array will be like this. Okay, sorry, my final what? My final stack. My final stack will be like this. So what I am going to do here is I am going to make a string. When I'm going to pop this out, I'll be getting my answer like CBA, but my answer is ABC. So okay, so see now what I'm going to do here. Okay, fine. So I'm going to, okay, so here what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a string. Let's say that is A. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to initialize it as blank string. Okay, so now while I just have to fill my stack's character in this string. Okay, so while my stack size is greater than 0, I'm going to do what? I'm going to add stack stop, whatever the character is at the top. Okay, and after this I'm going to pop it out. Fine, yeah. So after this we have to we also have to reverse this string. Fine, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to create another string, that is, let's say, answer. There are many options to do this. Okay, so whatever you are finding right, then you have to do this. Okay, so I'm going to let's say dot size, I'm going to iterate from the backward. Okay, and I must be greater than equals to 0, and here I going to decrease it. Okay, I minus. Fine, yeah. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to just add this, whatever my I is. So now my answer will be, and so I'm going to return my answer from here. Fine, I hope this is correct. Let's try to run this and see if our code is working. Fine, yeah. So it's throwing some error and it's at 18th line. Yeah, it's not pop, it's stop. In CPP there's no, okay, at what 30th line, st.pop, my a plus equal to st or whatever the top was. Now it's fine, I hope. Yeah, so let's try to run this again and see if our code is, yeah, it's accepted. And let's try to submit this out and see if all the test cases are getting passed. Yes, we got the full marks and we passed all the test cases. So I hope you understood this question. If you are having any doubt, please watch this video again. And if you like the video, please hit the like button and please share and subscribe our channel. Okay guys, we'll meet in the next lecture. Bye bye, take care, see ya.